Smokers have presented a throng of reasons for wishing to quit smoking. Several had to stop for medical purposes. This isn't surprising considering that over 400,000 Americans die yearly from diseases induced by cigarettes. Among the more common ailments directly caused by smoking are heart conditions, cancers, strokes, peripheral vascular diseases, pulmonary emphysema, bronchitis, ulcers and others. Additionally, treatment of pre-existent conditions may be complicated by smoking. Risk of anesthesia and post-operative ramifications are increased by utilization of cigarettes. Social pressure is a different major reason for stopping. Smoking is today viewed as smelly, nauseating and disgusting by non-smokers as well as by a lot of the over 50 million ex-smokers in our nation. While smoking was once believed to be sophisticated, individuals who smoke nowadays are scorned by many of their peers. A few smokers now feel that they appear lacking in self-discipline and looked down upon for not bearing the intelligence to stop. A few wish to stop smoking to set a positive example for their youngsters. The expense of smoking is a different major reason. Many remember stating, if cigarettes ever reach $1 a pack, I'll stop. Now cigarettes are approaching 5 times that amount and these same individuals have continued to smoke. A smoking couple may be motivated to quit once realizing they're spending thousands of dollars a year to maintain their addiction. Besides, smokers burn holes in their clothes, automobile, furniture and carpeting. Not only may costly burns result, but accidental fires may be started. As a matter of fact, over half of the fire deaths in our nation are induced by cigarette smoking. Many have quit smoking previously for a significant time period and returned to smoking. When they were free from smokes they felt healthier, calmer, and happier. But lack of comprehending allowed them to tempt a puff. This resulted in reinforcement of their full-fledged addiction. Some individuals need help to quit smoking. They know the dangers, plagues, and expense but still can't stop. Cigarette smoking is an addiction. It's imperative to remember that once you're an addict, you're always an addict. Once you're off smoking for a short time period, staying off is relatively simple. You'll have occasional thoughts for a cigarette, but they're nothing compared to the urges encountered from withdrawal during the early stopping process. But you must always bear in mind that one puff will put you back to a state of fully fledged dependency. Then you'll either have to go back to smoking or once more go through stopping. Those are both icky options. Consider both of them if you consider taking a puff. Follow the winners and never accept another puff. Stopping gradually. Stopping by the gradual detachment method. If you know a smoker who they truly despise, you ought to actively encourage them to abide by the gradual detachment, cut down approach. Call them up daily and tell them to just do away with one cigarette. Meaning, if they commonly smoke 40 a day, simply smoke 39 on the first day of the attempt to stop. The following day they should be promoted to smoke only 38, then 37 the next day and so forth. Then you should call these individuals daily to congratulate them and encourage them to continue.
I must re-emphasize, this ought to only be done to a smoker you in truth despise.
A bit at a time. Most smokers will agree to this plan of attack. It sounds so simple to simply smoke one less every day. 39 cigarettes to a 2-pack a day smoker looks like nothing. The trick is to convince the individual that you're merely trying to help them. For the first week or two, the one downside is you have to make believe to like the individual and you have to talk to them daily. They won't whine too badly either. When they're down to 30 from 40, they might start to complain a little. You truly won't be having fun yet. When the payoff comes is about 3 weeks into the scam. Now you've got them to less than 1/2 their normal amount. They're in moderate withdrawal day in and day out. A month into the plan of attack you have got them into pretty major withdrawal. But be relentless. Call them and tell them how awesome they're doing and how proud you are of them. If they're in their 35th to 39th day, you have pulled off a major coup. This poor individual is in extreme withdrawal, suffering miserably and having utterly nothing to show for it. They're no closer to stopping withdrawal than the day you began the procedure. They're in chronic withdrawal, not treating him or herself to 1 or 2 a day, but really depriving him or herself of 35 to 40 per day. If you wish to go in for the defeat, when you have them down to 0, tell them don't worry if matters get rugged, simply take a puff every once in a while. If you are able to get them to fall for this, taking 1 puff every 3rd day, they'll remain in withdrawal eternally. Did I mention you truly should despise this individual to do this to them? It's likely the cruelest practical joke that you may ever pull on anybody. You'll undercut their chance to stop, make them suffer infinitely, and likely they'll at some point give up, return to smoking, have such fear of stopping as of what they experienced cutting down, that they'll go on to smoke till it kills them. Like I stated, you better truly despise this individual. Hopefully there's no one you despise that much to do this to them. I trust nobody despises themselves enough to do this to themselves. Stopping cold turkey might be hard, but stopping by this withdrawal method is nearly impossible. If you have an option between hard and out of the question, go for hard. You'll have something to show at the end of a difficult process, but nothing but wretchedness at the end of an out of the question approach. Stop cold and in 72 hours it eases off. Cut back and it will essentially get progressively worse for weeks, months, or years if you let it. I ought to mention, this isn't a new method. Talk to every long-run ex-smoker you know. Attempt to find one individual who successfully used the cut-back approach, bit by bit reducing to eventual 0 over weeks or months. You'll be hard-pressed to find even one individual who fits this bill. One other view that ought to help you see the flaw in the attack. Look at individuals here who had once stopped for months or years and then relapsed. One day, after such a long time period, they take a drag and are smoking once again. If 1 puff may do this after years or decades, guess what it will do after months or days of being smoke-free? It puts the smoker back to square one. All that any ex-smoker has to do to prevent relapse or chronic withdrawal is to never accept another puff.